Nikola Tesla, the childhood of the man who created artificial lightning. It was a stormy night in 1856. In a small village called Smiljan, now part of modern-day Croatia. A baby was born as thunder cracked across the sky. The midwife whispered, "This child was born during lightning, he'll be a child of darkness." His mother replied, "No, he will be a child of light." That child's name was Nikola Tesla. From the very beginning, Tesla was different. He had a photographic memory, saw inventions in his mind before he built them, and was obsessed with light, energy, and the power of storms. He grew up surrounded by simple tools his mother crafted by hand, and stories from his father, a priest who never understood the science his son dreamed of. To young Nikola, thunderstorms weren't frightening, they were beautiful, they were music, and lightning was something he would one day learn to command. The storm inside, a boy unlike any other. Nikola Tesla's childhood wasn't ordinary, not by any measure. He was born into a Serbian family with a poet-priest for a father and an inventive, self-taught engineer of a mother. His father, Milutin Tesla, wanted him to join the clergy. His mother, Juka Mandic, built tools and mechanical devices in their farmhouse kitchen. It was from her, an unschooled woman of pure talent, that Nikola inherited his mechanical genius. By the age of 5, Tesla was building water wheels in streams and imagining machines powered by the sun. He could memorize entire books, recite long passages of poetry, and calculate complex equations in his head, all without touching paper. But his gifts came with strange burdens. He saw bright flashes of light in his mind, triggered by certain words or emotions. He had vivid hallucinations, numbers, patterns, and light dominated his imagination. He was terrified of round objects, had an obsession with the number 3, and couldn't bear to touch human hair. Some called it madness, others called it brilliance. At school, Tesla was both a challenge and a marvel. He devoured books, especially on electricity, physics, and mechanics, but he was often bored. Teachers couldn't keep up, and yet, when Tesla's older brother died in a horse-riding accident, everything changed. Nikola was devastated. More than grief, he was consumed by guilt. He had always lived in his brother's shadow. His health declined. He fainted often. Doctors thought he wouldn't survive. But instead of fading away, Tesla turned inward. His imagination deepened. He began to dream of things no one had ever built. One day, while walking through a park at sunset, a thought struck him like lightning. A machine that could rotate using an invisible magnetic field. It was the beginning of his most famous invention, the rotating magnetic field, a foundation for alternating current, AC. He was just a teenager, and though no one around him could see what he saw, Tesla was beginning to glimpse the future. Visions of power, from classroom to the new world. As Tesla grew older, his vision of a world powered by invisible forces only grew clearer. But reality was never kind to him. In 1875, he enrolled at the Austrian Polytechnic in Graz. There, for the first time, he had access to real laboratories, real equipment, and real challenge. He studied with obsession, sometimes working from 3 a.m. to 11 p.m. without rest. His professors were both impressed and unnerved. He could memorize entire books in a sitting, yet refused to learn anything that didn't inspire him. It was in Graz that Tesla first saw a Gram dynamo, a generator that, when reversed, became an electric motor. But Tesla saw a flaw: the brushes, the sparks, the inefficiency. He told his classmates, "I will create a motor without brushes, powered by a rotating magnetic field." They laughed, but the idea would never leave him. Unfortunately, Tesla never finished his degree. He left school before graduating, due to illness, a gambling addiction, and growing friction with his professors. He vanished for a time, even considered suicide. But genius rarely dies quietly. He re-emerged in Prague and later in Budapest, working odd jobs and recovering his health. One day, while walking with a friend in a city park, Tesla suddenly stopped. He grabbed a stick and began sketching in the dirt. He had it, the exact design of a brushless AC motor. It had come to him not through calculation, but in a flash of pure mental vision. He began working for the Central Telegraph Office and later for the Edison Company in Paris. There, He proved himself a talented engineer, quiet, odd, but brilliant. He spoke multiple languages, he could fix any machine. And he still carried the dream of his alternating current system. Then came the opportunity that would define his future. A job offer from Thomas Edison himself. Tesla boarded a ship to America in 1884. With little more than a notebook, a few letters of recommendation, and a head full of ideas. He arrived in New York with 20 cents in his pocket. But the city of steel, smoke, and electricity had never met anyone like Nikola Tesla. The war of currents, genius meets resistance. When Nikola Tesla arrived in New York City in 1884, it was a world bursting with ambition and electricity, quite literally. The streets glowed with Thomas Edison's incandescent bulbs, powered by his direct current, DC, electrical systems. And Tesla, young and unknown, walked straight into Edison's office, ready to change everything. At first, Edison admired Tesla's skill. He hired him to improve his generators and motors, promising a large reward for solving a critical engineering problem. Tesla did just that, quickly, efficiently, brilliantly. But when he asked for his promised payment, Edison laughed and said, "You don't understand our American humor." Tesla quit on the spot. From that moment on, a quiet war began. Edison, the icon of American invention, had built his empire on DC power, electrical current that flowed in one direction. But DC was limited. It couldn't travel far without massive power stations every few blocks. Tesla's idea? Alternating current, AC, electricity that reversed direction many times a second. AC could travel farther, faster, and more efficiently. Tesla believed it was the future. But Edison didn't want a future he didn't control. So, he fought back. Edison launched a smear campaign against AC, claiming it was dangerous, even deadly. He electrocuted animals in public demonstrations. He funded the invention of the electric chair to prove his point. And Tesla? He kept inventing. In 1888, Tesla partnered with industrialist George Westinghouse, who believed in AC as much as Tesla did. Westinghouse bought Tesla's patents and began installing AC systems across the country. The war escalated. Two visions of the future clashed. Edison's DC, safe, local, controlled. Tesla's AC, efficient, far-reaching, and free-flowing. The turning point came at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Westinghouse and Tesla won the contract to power the entire event with AC. Over 27 million people witnessed the dazzling display of light, powered by Tesla's technology. AC had won. Tesla had defeated Edison's empire, not through politics or money, but through ideas. But victory didn't make him rich. In a moment of generosity, or naivety, Tesla tore up a lucrative royalty contract with Westinghouse to save the company from bankruptcy. It cost him millions. He didn't care. For Tesla, it was never about money. It was about energy, about unlocking the invisible powers of the universe. And he was just getting started. Wireless dreams and a tower to touch the sky. With alternating current now lighting cities across America, Nikola Tesla could have stopped. He could have cashed in, lived comfortably, and cemented his place in history. But that wasn't Tesla's way. His mind had already moved on, to a world where wires were obsolete. Tesla believed electricity could be transmitted through the air, wirelessly. He imagined homes lit without cables, machines powered from miles away, even global communication, instant and invisible. He called it the World Wireless System, and he would try to build it. In 1901, with funding from the powerful financier J.P. Morgan, Tesla began construction of a massive experimental facility in Shoreham, New York. At its heart was a tower, the Wardenclyffe Tower, nearly 200 feet tall, crowned with a steel dome, and anchored deep into the earth to harness the planet's electrical resonance. It wasn't just a tower. It was Tesla's dream, to transmit energy freely, wirelessly, and globally. But dreams need money. And Morgan, who initially believed Tesla was building a rival to the transatlantic telegraph, pulled his funding when he learned Tesla wanted to give away power for free. Other investors saw no profit in it. The press mocked the project. And as Marconi claimed credit for the invention of radio, Tesla's achievements faded from the headlines. Wardenclyffe was never completed. Tesla was forced to abandon it in 1906. The tower stood for years, rusting and silent, before it was torn down and sold for scrap. But even as his dream collapsed, Tesla never stopped imagining. He continued to invent, from bladeless turbines to earthquake machines. He experimented with oscillators, wireless bulbs, even ideas for a death ray. He became reclusive. He fed pigeons in parks. He lived in hotel rooms, surrounded by blueprints and unpaid bills. But he never let go of the belief that one day, energy would flow through the air, and knowledge would travel across the globe without wires. Today, with Wi-Fi, wireless charging, and satellite communication, Tesla's tower no longer seems mad. It seems prophetic. The final spark, a forgotten genius and his lasting legacy. By the 1920s, Nikola Tesla was no longer the star he once was. The newspapers had moved on. The world celebrated Edison, Marconi, and other inventors. And Tesla, once the man who lit up the Chicago World's Fair, now lived in near complete obscurity. He bounced between New York hotels, often unable to pay his bills. He fed pigeons in Bryant Park, calling some of them by name. He said he loved one pigeon in particular. And when she died, a light went out in his life. Tesla never married. He never built wealth. And he never stopped believing in the beauty of invisible forces. In his later years, he claimed to have invented all kinds of things, a particle beam weapon, a machine to communicate with other planets, devices that could reshape warfare. Some believed him, most didn't. He was ridiculed, doubted, and written off as a madman. But even then, governments kept quiet tabs on him. When he died on January 7, 1943, in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel, the FBI sealed his belongings. Some of his papers were never released. He died alone. But he did not die unknown. Because today, Nikola Tesla's name lives everywhere. In electric cars, in units of measurement, in tech companies, in the minds of those who still dream too big. He gave the world alternating current, fluorescent lighting, radio transmission, remote control, and perhaps, more than anything else, he gave us the courage to believe that science can be art, that invention can be beauty, that even madness can carry truth. Tesla didn't fit into the world he was born into, so he built visions of the world to come. And now, long after his death, the world is finally catching up.